Okay, hello everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome once again to Purpose Fridays with Sherry Watson, family and friends. Derek Watson joining you guys once again. Have a great Purpose Happy Hour planned. We have a very special guest that you've been talking about. We're going to be starting kind of our interview series talking about everything nonprofit, bringing in people from around the country that are making a huge impact with nonprofits, members of our team, thought leaders, philanthropists, everybody really interested out there in making a big impact in the world and bringing them together for discussion on a happy hour on Fridays. So once again, we're going to get this kicked off. Again, happy Purpose Fridays to all of you as well. And to get us started here, we have a very special guest joining us today, the one and only Brandon Johnson. Many of you have spoken with Brandon or seen him from time to time on our videos or at our events. Brandon is really one of our, I would say, not just on a like-minded level, but like-hearted level of what we do. He really is the heart and soul behind what is the power of purpose. He is a driving force behind who we are, what we do, and our movement. As we talk about being the tip of the spear in our army of compassion, that's exactly as he is on the very tip. If you went to the microscopic level of that spear, very pointed edge, right? Electron microscope, he would be right there on that tip. Brandon, for the Power of Purpose, is our director of nonprofit development. He's also our top purpose consultant. Great backstory about Brandon. He's a decorated combat veteran who served 5 years active duty in the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, as a senior intelligence analyst for 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit. He was deployed several times, served in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. After his active duty, he served as civilian intelligence instructor, where he trained nearly 3,000 students in biometric intelligence and intelligence ops to prepare them for combat. Now, since exiting the Marine Corps, Brandon continues his call to service by working in the nonprofit sector and as a social entrepreneur. Really what we are here at the Power of Purpose, really teaching people about the power of social entrepreneurship and social enterprise. Brandon is a key figure in this industry. He's created a different kind of impact in the world with social entrepreneurship. He's been driven to help people in social change as the director of nonprofit development here at the Power of Purpose. He's helped hundreds of entrepreneurs to set up sustainable mission-driven organizations that operate at the very highest level, which you're about to see. He's also very dedicated in serving the veteran community. If you know us here at the Power of Purpose, we have nonprofits serving a variety of different social needs and addressing challenges and all different facets of our society. We have a very special place in our hearts and minds for the veteran community. And obviously with Brandon's dedicated service and in the military, in the Marine Corps, he's also extremely dedicated in serving the veteran community. He's on the board of a nonprofit that works to support veterans and has a nonprofit himself working to serve veterans. So I want to introduce all of you guys right now. Welcome to Purpose Fridays, the first appearance, really, especially with a new fantastic look, soon to be seen on the cover of GQ magazine.
Oh, really?
Welcome, Brandon. How you doing?
What's up, brother? I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Oh, doing just fine. Thanks for joining us here. It's just a pleasure to have you on. We know all of us here, those of you especially in our Mastermind programs and other programs we have at the Power of Purpose, how instrumental you are really behind the scenes, but it's amazing to get you out here out front to talk about really, we talk about the heart and soul of the Power of Purpose, which is, our core team of which you are part of, and to have you on to talk with people today.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. And thank you for that introduction. I think that's my bio from the site. Sometimes it, when you hear your bio or your wrap up, you're just like, wow, that somebody made my life sound really fancy just there. So.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, dude, I'm so excited to be here and to what does Sherry call it? Happy hour with the purpose, right?
Good. Yep.
I got my coffee. I think Sherry usually brings her kombucha. So we got our Purpose Fridays going, man. So I'm excited, and I'm really pumped to meet everybody on this list and to kind of share some thoughts and some ideas about where we're at, where we're going, and some of the things that our awesome students have been doing and what they've been up to. So I'm super excited to share this space with you guys. It's Friday afternoon here over in Ohio. Usually work out of San Diego and Albuquerque, out in Ohio, visiting some family. So, really, really excited to share this space. I always am very appreciative of everyone that shows up to these videos and webinars. You could be spending your time doing anything, and you're spending it right now to be here with us to talk about your passion, to talk about helping change the world and do it as an entrepreneur. And, it's pretty cool to share this space with everybody. So thanks for having me. Thanks for welcoming me, Derek. I'm ready to get going.
Oh, fantastic. Well, let's do that. As we get going here, first and foremost, I wanted to make an announcement. Also congratulate you on very recently being appointed and serving on the board of directors of the Power of Purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, for the last, almost 2.5 years, I've been on this journey with the Power of Purpose and the Watsons, and it's just always been one exciting thing to the next. So this is just, I think, the next progression, next step in the journey. And I couldn't have more gratitude for being able to help guide what we're doing and, stay true to our roots, grow this thing, and go out there and change the world one day at a time, working with our students. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note too, that's a great point. Just talk about what really drew you in, what inspired you to join the Power of Purpose, to join this organization, to join this movement.
Right. Well, that's a funny story because, my transition out of the Marine Corps, I was lucky enough to get a job right out of the Marine Corps. I was an instructor for 3 years, as you said, in my intro. And I just, as an intelligence analyst, I got a lot of training and, transition, and I was able to land a pretty good job. This is right around 2008 when the economy fell out from underneath itself. And I remember my family always talking to me about, make sure you keep the job and, you got a good, you're good and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I got a clearance and, I did all this, so I'm doing okay. But when I was working there, when I was still involved in the military, there was always just something in the back of my head that in the back of my ear, I think some of the folks on this call might understand that when you hear that, when you're not working in your purpose or working in your passion, you hear that voice in the back of your head when you go to bed or when you see someone else living their purpose. You're like, man, why can't I do that? And I started to kind of get there. And I think one of the bigger things for me was when I started to, send as a Marine, you just jump in, you do your job and hit the ground running. And Duncan, I saw your comment, Semper Fi. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. But, as a Marine, you just jump in and hit your mission and do what you have to do. But when you get out, you start to see some of the other opportunities out there. And, I saw what we were doing. We were just sending young men and women overseas and giving them everything they needed in the military. But when they get out as a veteran, they kind of fell off, right? And we know a lot of issues with veterans. It's really hot topic now, especially with the new administration and, what they've done in the past. And, really at the forefront, we see what's happening with our veterans. So with that, that's when I just kind of felt that shift to move towards nonprofit. And I worked as a fundraiser, going door to door. I shifted and I started going to school. And, I was still trying to figure out where I was going. And I had job security, but I shifted my whole life's purpose and path, going to school, trying to find my way. Answered an ad on Craigslist to go door to door and raise funds for nonprofits. And I tell you, if anybody's ever gone door to door, especially trying to get someone to support a nonprofit, because you're not selling something, you're not selling them a vacuum or anything that they could take. You're selling them a brighter future or whatever your mission is. So that's really where I got my licks getting started. And it wasn't until, I was working in that area, I started working taking over offices and running regions and fundraising and helped organizations to raise millions of dollars. It wasn't until I saw what Sherry was doing and I was just blown away. Sherry, I think initially everybody's drawn into Sherry and her story, and then realizing what she can do and what our students are doing, over the last 10 years, and really digging in the last few years here with what you've been doing in real estate, and just seeing it go to that next level and just keep progressing. And we're growing this movement, and this is a live, thriving. There's a heartbeat here at the Power of Purpose. And when you're in alignment with that, when you're in alignment with that root, that thing, that voice in the back of your head, and you're able to wake up every day and have fun. We like to have a blast while we're doing it. But, at the same time, you come in a room and you hear people's stories in our mastermind group and they just blow you away. And then what they've gone through, like what Sherry's gone through, and for her to do that and now shift her life towards making that her work for the rest of her life, and now sharing that with the Power of Purpose, I mean, that's just amazing. So that's really one of the biggest things was Sherry initially, and then the movement, kind of the heartbeat of what we're doing, everyone coming together. And how do we problem solve? How do we move forward? Forget the left, the right, stop watching the news, stop, drinking the Kool-Aid, come here and do something, have fun with it, and live your purpose and live your passion. And the Power of Purpose, really helped me to do that. So I think that's really what drew me in.
Yeah, on that topic, and you've stated to me a number of times, as we all do here, right behind the scenes, but even just coming in about important key factor to success in this industry of social entrepreneurship is being purpose driven.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Also having a sense of service, giving back, finding ways to add value, right, to help in exchange grow an organization where you yourself can benefit, personally, your family too, and create an entire corporation, entire business on addressing some important need or helping people, right? So would you say that is, a key factor in going into an endeavor like this with the power, on the Power of Purpose, launching a nonprofit? So would you say that going into that, somebody that's looking to, set up a nonprofit, or is in, even before startup, is that really those key factors important before they're considering launching a nonprofit, starting a nonprofit, even before they launch, on having like that, much like you said before, coming out with your service, right? Finding ways to address those needs with raising money, the veterans community addressing those needs, right? Having those key factors in place of being purpose driven, having also a sense of service and giving back, and also adding value where in exchange you yourself can benefit with the growth of the nonprofit. So would you say that's important for people that are looking to start a nonprofit, even before they start, when it's really about mindset and having that in place?
Yeah, great question. I think that not only, to give you kind of my personal take, just from where I've gone to where I'm going, not only I think is it important, I think it's right now one of the most crucial and critical things to wake up every day and to go to a job that you absolutely are gonna pour your blood, sweat, and tears into, right? When I was a contractor, a kid out of the Marine Corps, didn't go to college, or was going but didn't have a degree, and I was a biometric intelligence instructor, right? And I know that's a mouthful, and I'm not going to try to explain that at all, but I had a good job based on what I did in the Marine Corps. And I had job security for the rest of my life. And I still had that. I didn't feel like I was living my true purpose, what God brought me here to do. And that's where, I struggled a little bit. And, when you're working in real estate or a bank, and not to say that none of those are great jobs, but if you don't wake up every day and say, I was put on this planet to close real estate, or I was put on this planet to do this job, then, take a long, hard look and, make moves towards what that purpose and what that passion is. And if you aren't in alignment with that, you're going to you're going to, your life's going to be difficult. But when you are in alignment with that, when you wake up every day motivated, you don't have 4 alarms on your phone and you're snoozing every 10, 15 minutes. And, you're dragging yourself to work. You get in the car and you drive 30, 40 minutes and you go to a job and you work for somebody else's dream. You make money to go put more money in the gas tank to drive home, to eat food, to hang out with the kids, and then do it all over again. I mean, what's that about? What's that? That's not. We see such a huge shift in the world right now with social entrepreneurship and with people stepping up into their purpose, into their passion, and wanting to make change, wanting to live true to themselves and true to their core. And the nonprofit is one of the best vehicles to do it, because you can work in a nonprofit and it can work hand in hand with your for-profit business. It doesn't matter if you're starting out, if you've got an idea, our team here can show you. I mean, there's so many things I thought I knew. I think Sherry's forgotten more about nonprofits than I could even think about. But how do you can fold what businesses you have right now, or how you can at least make 20, 30 minutes a day towards your purpose, towards your passion. If you're not absolutely living your passion, you are falling out of integrity with your character. And that's where you've got to really align yourself with your purpose, your passion, and your God-given talents, and go out and just have fun and help people and do great things. That's what's helped me with, being here at the Power Purpose, working with our students.
Excellent description as well. We talk about that the nonprofit is the entity, right? It can be the financial vehicle to living that purpose, to really living and focusing on that passion that they have, right? That is the entity you can monetize to allow you to do that. And that's what we are all about here. So just speaking of which, to kind of draw a parallel, you're talking about bringing a vision to that reality. So one of our most recent endeavors that we're very, very proud of, we've been wanting to do for quite some time. We've had this vision, right, of bringing like-minded, like-hearted people together, right, on a very high level with a mastermind. Mm-hmm. We call it the Power Purpose Mastermind. We call them the Purpose Pioneers, because we are trailblazing the frontier of social enterprise. So it's been a vision of ours for quite some time, and we finally put everything together to make it become a successful reality. We have these amazing individuals and affiliate nonprofits all over the country now doing incredible things, making a tremendous impact, building profitable nonprofits that are going to be sustainable and be there to grow and really even change entire paradigms, as we're seeing on many different levels, as it pertains to, just as a name a few in particular, real estate, veterans housing, affordable housing, et cetera, just to name a few. So to draw a parallel, people are talking about, really on that vision that they may have with a nonprofit, and how we had this vision with this mastermind and our Purpose Pioneers. So we, you and I, the team, we work diligently on that to bring that vision to fruition, to make it become a successful reality, right? Mm-hmm. What are some key factors you think that people can implement, how we utilize to turn that into a successful reality, that vision, to what they want to do? They have a vision, right? Utilizing a nonprofit and turning it into a successful reality. What are some of those key factors that we've used that they can implement so they can have a successful reality?
Right. Yeah, man. So I think a few things. I think that, I think it was Napoleon Hill, or I can't remember, Think and Grow Rich, right? If you've all read that book or heard about it, learned about it in some kind of speaking event, what one of the, really successful entrepreneurs did was have somebody go around and interview some of the most successful people in the world, right? So they went around and interviewed, the Henry Fords and the Rockefellers and all those people. And, everybody says all the money goes to the top 1%. Well, I think that they said if all that money that they had was dispersed to everybody else, in a few years, it'd quickly go back, because they just think differently. They just operate in a different capacity. And it's not, genetics. It's not because they've got a spoon fed. It's because they're hungry and they're driven, and they've got a team in place, and they're connected to each other, right? So they've got some of the key principles, I think, is wake up hungry every day, hungry every single day. Every day is a blessing. Dude, Derek, look what happened to Sherry. I mean, your mom, look what happened to Sherry. Her life was almost taken away like that. And by the grace of God, she was put on a path to help people, to change the world. And look what she's done. I wouldn't be on this call. We all wouldn't be sitting here together if it wasn't for what she did, and being hungry and staying true to that purpose. And then what I really learned, because anytime I I call it Sherry time. I always try to steal some Sherry time whenever I can, and just trying to pick her brain, because maybe throughout the call or later in the call, I can kind of talk about what my real big purpose and passion is not only working here, but working with the veteran movement. But I want to take the lessons that she learned in the disability community and how they were able to change legislation, work at so many different levels, work within the community, work, as a business. And, they had different elements of the movement and how it all came together. The veteran movement, I think, is really fragmented. There's a lot of people over here doing this. There's there's a few big successful organizations like Wounded Warrior Project and some others, but they don't have that great press nowadays. So, how do we bring each other together? And I think, being hungry and, we know all those things. I think the biggest thing is, who are you associating yourself with? Who are you connecting yourself to on a daily basis? Think of the 5 people you hang out with, right? And back to the Think and Grow Rich. Really, the story or the summary of all of it is, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with, right? When I was in high school, I was the average of the 5 high school kids I hung out with, and that we got into trouble and all that kind of stuff. But then I got smart and I joined the Marine Corps. Well, I don't know if you could say that smart, but I joined the Marine Corps, and had loved my service and loved what we did. But then I got out and I was still working within the military. And it wasn't until I shifted away from that and I started working in the nonprofit community. And then I kind of shifted, not away from nonprofit, but I shifted towards entrepreneurship in nonprofit. Because if you work in nonprofit, you know that there's a lot of mindsets. It's almost, there's some of the government kind of mindset that spills over, this is kind of my pie and I'm going to keep a hold of this pie. Not collaboratively. How do we work together? How do we build movements, and how do we build coalitions and masterminds? And that's, I think Sherry called them think tanks back in the day. But the group that we've brought together is one of the most powerful groups that I've seen come together. And what we're doing in the future, in the very near future, is the people in the nonprofit world are going to look at us at a very high light, because we're bringing in the entrepreneur mind, not just the bake sale type of charities and what's real estate. Most this, you tell our audience all the time, most people don't know about charitable giving in real estate. I had no idea, and I fundraised millions of dollars for nonprofits. But I went out there and hustled. I was passionate, and I was a Midwestern kid who just loved to talk to people about something he's passionate about. But it wasn't until I got here and I really understood the power of the community that Sherry's building. So I think to answer your question here, to summarize, I think a few things are staying hungry, staying in integrity with yourself and with what you want to achieve, not every day is a gift, and not letting that gift go to waste, standing up and stepping up. And there's times when, and I think giving yourself a little bit of grace, because there's times where I could say that I definitely don't wake up every single day jumping out of the bed and taking on the world, but I always force myself to do as best I can. And then a few others, the biggest I think is, who do you surround yourself with? Because when I was starting to set up my nonprofit, I'd call my friends and family, and then they'd be like, okay, cool, Brandon, nonprofit, we get it. You're passionate about stuff. Great. Veterans. That's awesome. And I'm like, no, I'm like trying to shake them, like, no, we need to change the world and we need to do this and take the mountain and all those things. And they're like, okay, I'm just going to do my thing and go to work. And I was like, man, we're the people that get it, that are hungry and passionate. And that's what the power of purpose kind of filled that hole, that void for me. And, coming to that mastermind event in June, hearing people's stories and people coming together. Not only are we changing the world, we're changing ourselves. And now we're building a movement and a coalition. So you can get on a phone call and call somebody in this group and say, hey, here's where I'm at. Here, you've got this and I've got this. Maybe we could come together and collaborate. I know at the Mastermind, the first week after the Mastermind, there's multi-million-dollar deals being made from just that one group. So it's a big piece of, staying hungry and all that, but I think a bigger piece of who do you surround yourself with, because you're not only going to act or begin to absorb some of what they're doing in their business, but you're going to really learn a lot, and you're going to build relationships that'll last a lifetime, and you're going to understand, how do you cut the curve, and how do you use their tools and resources and take it to the next level. And that's through the people, you hang out with, the five friends you have.
Absolutely. What we witnessed was pretty special. Talking about surrounding yourselves with people that are like-minded, like-hearted as well, them together where there's alignment, powerful things happen, very powerful things.
Yeah.
That was really, bringing our vision finally to fruition with this Mastermind, our Purpose Pioneers, and literally also doing things that have never been done before. That's what we call ourselves, Purpose Pioneers. But that's how it starts. That's how incredibly, just as an example, you mentioned, Sherry Watson, mom, right, is her story, where it was a group of people that were, very passionate, very purpose-driven, like-minded, had, aligned for one singular goal. And they changed the entire world. They changed this country. They changed a number of different ways that they creep in all facets of life right now in modern day. So you are 100% right. And that's exactly the power behind this Mastermind, and that vision, and how people, again, when they can take that vision, in this case with a nonprofit, implement that, the amazing things that happen. Now, we talk about those people, like, for example, our Purpose Pioneers, but many of our Purpose Pioneers are on with us this afternoon. Hey, guys, always good to see you on. That just shows you, again, their dedication to always come in and join us and to hear more about us and
I see,
and to stay connected. Absolutely, yeah.
We got one of our newest members, Ibrahim Kamara, came in this week. One of our newest Mastermind warriors coming through. Our Purpose Pioneers, right?
Absolutely. And to talk about, them also, we're talking about that have existing nonprofits, currently launching nonprofits, or they're in startup mode, they're about to launch, they're getting in order, they're brand new. They're really in all, facets of that, right?
Yeah.
We're really talking about, some of those essentials, right, for nonprofit, especially here at the Power of Purpose. We're really focused on, on getting them on the fast track, accelerated results, right? So even those that are thinking about, or even hearing more about our Mastermind, right, or potentially in startup mode, how to get on that fast track, right? How to get accelerated results. So in your mind, what are the essential components for that? What does that look like?
To really get your business fast tracked?
Yes, what we do on the fast track, accelerated results.
Yeah, accelerated results. I think it's simple. Duplicate success. Don't waste time, effort. Time is the number one biggest commodity, because if you've got time to do something, you can make a living, and you can figure out how to monetize it. But if you're spending time to create a system that somebody's already built, that's going to really put you behind the power curve. I think getting accelerated results is find somebody that's done it. I've done a lot of things as an entrepreneur, and some good, some bad. And as far as finding somebody that really knows a system, or knows how to cut the curve and take me to the next level as an entrepreneur. But duplicate success, find the right people to associate yourself with, and really hit the ground running. I think the biggest thing is staying hungry, staying organized. As a Marine, I think that's one of the biggest things that I I've learned in almost a decade working within the government or the military was you've got to stay organized. And, if you're working in your business and not on your business, you're jeopardizing your success. Because if you're, kind of a restaurant analogy, if you're bussing the table of the business and you're not fully running the books, you're not, you're not bringing in business, you're not, scheduling events or, operating at the highest level, you're jeopardizing the success of the business, because you could hire somebody to do that, right? And so I think my biggest thing would be, to accelerate a business is to find a system, work the system, and get that accelerated result. And that's I think the biggest thing that I've learned. Because stepping into an entrepreneur world, it's kind of like, okay, right. I didn't learn this in college, or I didn't learn this in school. I wasn't raised to think like this. I was raised to get a job, go to work, do my work, punch the clock, and then go home and have a personal life, right? I forget who said this, Derek, but it's always one of my favorite quotes to tell folks. Entrepreneurs are a funny breed. They'll quit their 9-to-5 job, working 40 hours a week, working for somebody else, to go create their own business and work 80 to 100 hours a week, but they're working for themselves. I love that. I love that spirit. Right now is the best time in the history of this country and the world to be an entrepreneur. We've got so many tools and things leveraging, and you do that with the system. You do that when you step into something that somebody's already built. You leverage that time, and of course you got to step into that and hit the ground running. But yeah, I would say learning from someone else that knows the drill, has been there, done that, and got the T-shirt to prove it. But Sherry's got hundreds of T-shirts from proving it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's what we talk about with accelerated results, is people that have been trailblazing and developed those systems and plugging into that system. And those of you that will be following us from these Purpose Fridays or follow us even elsewhere online, if you haven't met our Mastermind students, or you soon will be, that's exactly what they're doing, is they're plugging into our system. We even brag, right? Even Sherry, his mom has been bragging about that for decades, that she's the queen of copy and paste, right? It's just, it's the same thing with no profit. It's no different. A system that they plug into that gets them on the fast track from setup, record. It's record breaking what our Mastermind students are doing. Again, nonprofit setup. It's so incredibly easy. And the future of social entrepreneurship and social enterprise is exploding. It continues to outpace the for-profit sector by double digits every single year. Exactly right, with the opportunities. And yes, having a team, having a system, and also having people surrounding yourself with people, in the case, like, as an example with our Mastermind, that are just synergistically aligned with that very same thought process, that same vision, that same drive, being purpose-driven.
Yeah.
You have those tools in place, that's exactly where you're going to get those accelerated results and get on the fast track.
One more thing to add to that, Derek, is, I feel like that's a lot of, kind of the left brain tools, how to leverage and get connected into a system. And that's kind of the engineering type of the mind. One of the biggest things I forgot is to get rid of the fear and doubt that creep in, that is kind of inherently in our society, there for a reason.
This is good. Just real quick, I just want, sorry to interject, but I just want to talk. That was my next point. We talked about the fast track. That you nailed it. What holds people back, right? What objections, obstacles do they encounter? How do they overcome those? Right? You nailed the first one. So absolutely, go ahead, continue.
Fear. Les Brown says fear is false evidence appearing real, right? So fear is the biggest. And I think that you could with even having a system and having all those tools and resources, some of our students, are hustling, and, maybe you go out and try to build a relationship with somebody, and you connect with the legislator, and it didn't hit them. They didn't get it. They weren't inspired. You came in, you got all prepared all day, and this is a big deal for you. You see that they're on the budget committee, or they know this person, or maybe there's this real estate deal, whatever it is. And then you get there and you try to do the deal, or you talk to that person, or, have a pitch or do an event, whatever it is, and it flops, right? That's one of the biggest things in fear, is going out there and trying and failing. But that's one of the coolest things that you can do in any business, is fail, right? Look at some people that are successful. Michael Jordan, if there's basketball fans out there, was dropped from the high school basketball team. He was not on the high school basketball team. This is the best basketball player in my eyes. Some people might have a different opinion. Being in Ohio and Cleveland, LeBron is kind of taking the torch, but still, in my eyes, Michael Jordan's the best. Kicked off the basketball team. Look at several other. There's so many stories of people that hustled hard and that got rejected and just kept fighting. But you don't hear about the stories of people that get rejected and don't follow through, right? Because fear creeps in there and dominates. Because in our society, I talked about Gary Vee. I heard him on a speech the other day, was talking about fear. The society that we have is fear is injected into what we do. You watch TV, movies, you listen to commercials. Everything is be driven by fear, be fearful, and then buy this product because it's going to fix your problems, right? Be fearful for the way you look. Be fearful for talking or being an entrepreneur, testing something, going out, trying something new, right? Be fearful. And it's there because there's tons and tons of money in doing that and getting people in that state of mind to be fearful. And when you can break through that fear, when you can shake that off of your psyche and shake that off your spirit and stay true and aligned with your purpose, with your passion of who you are as a person, right? Just because you failed once doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you failed that test. It means that you failed one thing. It doesn't mean your whole life you're a failure because you messed up or missed a step, right? That's something that's really important to learn. And I learned, that over, still learning, I guess. But letting go of fear and stepping into that unknown is something that, give yourself some grace, because it can be scary. But I tell you what, it is the most beautiful thing, and it's so worth it when you can go to a job and change someone's life. When you go down the street, or you go to, wherever you're at, if you're not in an inner city, go and buy someone a meal that lives on the street and talk to them. Have a conversation. See what their story is. It can change so much about yourself because you slowed down and you weren't hustling. We hustle, but sometimes you got to connect, right, to the why. And when you drop the fear, what's going to drop your fear is connecting to your why, connecting to the people you serve. I talk to people so many times on the phone, they're just scared. And I ask them, I'm like, what's holding you back? And it's money or this and that. And honestly, it has nothing to do with any of that, because if you had no fear, you wouldn't be worried about the time that you'd spend or the money you had, or, putting it on a, building your business on a credit card. That's fear. It always goes down to the one root cause, and that's fear. If you get rid of that, expel that, and you're in alignment with the why, you touch the people that you serve, you get closely associated with them. That's why Sherry was able to do what she did, because she went through it. She lived it. And then she was able to sit next to a kid in a coma, and, the room's like 50 degrees cold, he doesn't have a blanket on. They're telling the mom, yeah, he's not in there. They don't know what's going on and all that stuff. Sherry's like, "Bull crap! I know exactly what's going on. I've been there. I've sat in that room, and and I know what it's like." So going through it, getting associated, getting connected with the people you serve, and every day you wake up, every day I wake up, and I'm working towards my business while I'm helping to grow the power of purpose in this movement. And we've got people like Rose Gallen on the call and Tim Combs that are going out and serving veterans. I remember exactly where I was when I spoke with Tim Combs a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. I was the office in San Diego was getting painted or something, and I had to go work in a coffee shop. I remember exactly where I was. You know where Tim Combs is now? He's got over $2 million in donations and assets in his business. He's got a nursing home donated. He's got multiple properties donated. He is going out, changing the paradigm, and it's a hustle. He's hustling. Hey,
Speaking of hustling.
Speaking of hustling, look who just joined us. What's up, Sherry? Looks like she's coming in and out of service there. But yeah, I mean, and Tim, when I talk to Tim and I talk to a lot of students that do jump in and join us, that do align with their purpose and passion, they're just, Tim's just not afraid. He gets on the phone, he's a salt of the earth. I love the guy from Iowa. We're both Midwestern boys, grew up the, simple life, but we want to go out and change the veteran paradigm. And, he just let go of the fear, and now he's housing veterans, changing lives. And I think in a very near future, he's going to be, a multi-million-dollar organization that's pretty tough to battle with. And he did that. And, we're all doing it because we let go of fear. So everyone on the call, do something today. Make a promise to yourself. Make a commitment to yourself that you are going to, today, drop your fear. You're going to let it go. Think about what it is. Think about what you're afraid of. What is holding you back? Honestly, what's holding you back? What held Michael Jordan back? What held Einstein back, right? These folks do not wake up and, they put their pants on one leg at a time. Or Einstein probably built a machine and just jumped into his pants, whatever he did. But think about what they had to overcome and where they are now, what they've brought and contributed to the world. And don't settle for anything. Don't be unreasonable with what your expectations are of yourself, and push yourself and let go of fear and stay close to that why and people you serve. And you're going to go out there and change the world like Sherry and everyone else on this call.
Absolutely. And we're talking about that point about how liberating that is.
Yeah.
Moving those, they literally are blocks. They paralyzing at times. But now you see with what we're doing, for example, right after this, we have a big call with our fund with, again, with people on those capital investment firms out of New York City and Manhattan, former, presidents of Morgan Stanley, people like that. And when you don't have that fear and you're showing them, how powerful this is, why they need to get on board, why this is, just such an incredible opportunity, the doors start opening up everywhere. They really do. All you got to do is turn the knob. Letting go of fear is really just turning the knob. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brandon, as we kind of draw into our last minutes here, and again, thanks for jumping on and joining us for Purpose Happy Hour. We love these. We're going to be having this as a group join in a lot more Fridays together.
Yeah.
On a personal level, what are you striving for as a lasting legacy? You have a lot of different passions. You talk about the power of purpose, but especially with veterans, among other things. A lasting legacy, what would you like to see happen in your lifetime when it comes to making an impact?
I don't know how much time you have, Derek. Geez. What keeps me up at night? What's the voice in the back of my head? I think one of the reasons why I work at the Power of Purpose is we're launching a movement. We're not launching; it's launched, but we're driving a movement. We're helping people attach to their why, putting a vehicle of a nonprofit next to it. No matter where you're at, if you're just thinking about it, kind of, sort of, if you're not living your purpose, you're jeopardizing your future. So, jump into it. I think twofold. One is to help people, and through power of purpose and, just going out there and meeting with people, help people ultimately live their life's purpose, right? Help them to get to that point. I'm still working through that myself. Nobody's perfect, and if you find somebody, please tell me. I'd love to talk to them. So, really helping people and this community and the nonprofit community to understand how to run like a business, how to change lives, how to have fun, change paradigms. That's one of my biggest is helping individuals to come together to change the broken systems we have in this country. Healthcare, agribusiness, education, anything, you name it. There's holes everywhere. And the cool thing about nonprofit is, people could say, oh, well, there's all these veteran nonprofit agencies and a lot of, well, there's tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands of homeless veterans or on the verge of homelessness, or in a position where they can be in the next 6 months. Tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that stood up, put their hand in the air and said, I'm going to serve the country, gone to war. Not everybody has, but gone to war, protected our freedom so we can get on this phone call. No matter what you hear in the news, this is an amazing country. I've been to countries where it's not fun, where it's somewhat difficult, and we still have a lot to do, but we have a beautiful foundation here, and we need to get back to that. We need to get back to who we are as Americans in the society. And I think one of the biggest things for me, Derek, is getting our veteran population, all those folks, men and women who have stepped up, and they had purpose, right? They had a higher calling. They could have gone to college or got a job or did whatever they did. They stood up and, they were selfless and wanted to change the, protect the country and change their lives and change the world. And they joined the military. But then for some reason they got out and they just fell off the map when it comes to the service and support they get. And what my legacy I want to have happen is to use the greatest asset we have in this country, which is our veteran population, to plug them in to these areas of entrepreneurship, working in nonprofit, social businesses, to change people's lives and to use one of the greatest assets we have, purpose-driven people, and get them to come in and step into the nonprofit world and be successful. They've got all the tools and resources in the world, but what are we doing? We're just letting them, fall out the wayside, because look at the stats. Veteran unemployment is pretty high. And looking at some of the other big stats, veteran suicide is, I just can't believe that that's even a possibility. And there's so many things that we can do to change that, and getting the veterans to come in and take charge. They know how to do that. You give them the tools and not talking about this empowerment or this entitlement type of program, getting veterans to be at their best and to come in and change use the skills that they've built in the military and to go out and change the paradigm. We lose 20, 22 veterans a day. That's almost one an hour, right? In this call, we could potentially have a veteran take their own life. That is absolutely disgusting to me that that's a possibility that's happening. And the majority of them are not Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, although, yes, there are, but a majority of them are Vietnam veterans. What I'm concerned about, though, is who's taking care of them, and then who's taking care of Iraq, Afghanistan veterans in the future? What kind of systems are we building, right? When we end veteran homelessness and veteran suicide, I'll be happy. But as it stands right now, there's hundreds of I think probably thousands of nonprofits that are working on veteran issues. But here's the thing, folks, there's still veteran suicide. There's still homelessness. The issues are not changed. The issues, they're getting worse. So step up, demand a change in yourself, and come join us. I mean, come be a part of what we're doing. Get out of that fear. Get out of that every day I got to go to work and I got to do this, and I'll jump on a Friday video with Sherry every now and again, or I'll watch a webinar on Facebook and all that stuff. Demand better from yourself and go out and change the world. That's what I want to do. Is I want to help people to be at their highest, at their best self. And I want to use and change the entire veteran paradigm of what's going on in this country, and use the greatest asset we have, which is our vets, and old, young, and our active duty, and how do we use what we've learned and change these systems and make it, a better future, and have fun, and create businesses that leave a lasting impact and a lasting legacy.
Well stated, Brandon. Well stated. We have Don Boyce just writing in here saying he's also a former U.S. Marine veteran.
Boyce,
San Diego, looking to speak with you, to talk as soon as possible about joining the organization, hear more about becoming a purpose pioneer.
Yeah, so absolutely.
On that note, with Don here, and for everyone else on, if you guys would like to talk to Brandon more on what we're doing, nonprofit development, being really big on the purpose consulting side of it, really with developing at all stages, whether you haven't even set up yet or even if you're a well-established organization. Our mastermind students comprise all levels of nonprofit levels right now. So what is the best way for them to, Brandon, begin that process of connecting with you, speaking with you more about this?
Yeah, absolutely. Best way to get a hold of me and my team is to go to our Mastermind application page, and go to www, and I think Derek's going to pull it up here, but go to our application page. There's tons of content on this page. It's not just an apply button. Go watch these videos Derek and Sherry put on. Lots of great training on real estate, kind of the how-to stuff. And then get a hold of us. Go to our website. There you go, nonprofitwebclass.com/mastermind. All one word. That's nonprofitwebclass.com/mastermind. And this is our rockstar team up there. We've got a few others in the background too, but there's 2 videos below that second video. Go click the apply page and fill it out, and get over to our team. One of our staff members will reach out to you most likely early next week. And we want everyone to apply. Not everyone is is ready or a fit right now at this point. But those that are ready, those that are going to demand more from themselves, that are going to make change, and that are ready to let go of fear, ready to go out there and make it happen. They've got the why. They've got all the why in the world. They need the how. That's what Sherry and the team here do. That's what they help you with. Is the how-to, is how to step up, how to get it started, how to, if you're just thinking of the idea, or if you're a nonprofit that's been around for decades, that's a multi-million-dollar organization, we've worked with everyone in between. So if you're just getting started, we've got a place where we can help you to get aligned and really get the ball rolling and get things moving. And if you're a nonprofit that's been around and looking to raise more capital and looking to enhance your operations, Sherry and her team can come in, and they've worked at all levels of nonprofits. I think that group right there, along the panel, they've probably got almost probably 100 years of experience collectively working in nonprofit, raising hundreds of millions of dollars, close to billions, in nonprofits, so in social businesses. So they're the folks that know what's up. Go to that web link and apply, and we'll have one of my team members reach out to you, and then they'll get you over to me, and we'll talk about how we can work together and how we can get you to that next level. Make sure you're ready, because that's what I'm looking for, is people that are ready to go.
Absolutely, right? None stated better than a Marine, right? You better be ready.
You better be ready.
So,
We're shuffling next to that. We're shuffling, getting out of the door. You better have your pack ready and deploy out of that airplane, out of that C-130, hitting the ground and pull your chute. We're hitting the beach, and we're making change. So instead of guns, we're going out and we're making change here.
Hey, gung ho is the unofficial motto, right, Brandon? Absolutely.
Yep.
And guys, real quick on that too, we've got it won't be up much longer. We got a great video coming in for the mastermind. But we got about almost 4 hours of content on this page. Well, on a training we did called Real Estate Revenue. Be sure and check that out. It really lays out what we talked about with our real estate program and our children giving of real estate, and as well as our housing programs, things we're doing all across the country. Check that out. Look at the application right below. Get a chance to talk with Brandon. Amazing. And Brandon, Don, who wrote in as well. You guys, thank you again for your service, what you've done. I have this, you probably guys see this on the webinars all the time. I have my grandfather, U.S. Marine, World War II, the flag that draped over his casket on my wall.
Yeah.
Right here in the office. So we definitely have a special place in our hearts for you guys. But that's going to draw us to a close, guys. So be sure and check that out one more time, nonprofitwebclass.com/mastermind. I want to thank Brandon for joining us today and sharing. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, guys, the heart and soul of the Power of Purpose. You're looking at it right next to me on the screen here. So go to the page, check it out. Brandon would love to talk to you more about on the nonprofit side of all facets of where you are. That's where he is on the chief side of nonprofit development, the best that Our Purpose has. So hit him up and apply. Talk to our amazing team and amazing mastermind stuff. You guys keep tabs on that. I would just continue to encourage you guys to join us on Fridays, because again, we're going to keep this process going. You're going to be hearing from not just myself, Sherry, Brandon here. We're also bringing on our Purpose pioneers to hear what they're doing across the country. It's going to just, boom, your head's going to just pop like microwave popcorn, as you know, Mom loves so much. So thank you guys again for joining us. Brandon, one more time, round of gratitude for taking the time and joining us today.
Yeah.
You're busy, you know, you have a lot going on with our mastermind students. But thanks again for joining us on our Purpose happy hour.
Glad to do it. Thanks so much, everybody. Really appreciate you sharing the time and space, and looking forward to hopping on some more of these Purpose Fridays and talking about how we come together, how we make it happen, how we go out and change the paradigm, change the world, have fun while we're doing it, and build relationships that last a lifetime. So when you one thing I forgot to say is, when you come into the Power of Purpose, when you come into the family here, you're stuck with us for life. So whether you like it or not, we're going to be friends and family for life. So yeah, y'all have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Derek. Appreciate your steadfast, your work that you do for this group and organization. I mean, we wouldn't be anywhere without you, man. So thank you so much. And, my hat goes off to you and your grandfather as well. Heard all the great stories. So definitely thanks for his service. And Don, thank you for your service. Thanks so much for everybody showing up and taking a listen. So looking forward to connecting with you guys soon.
All right, guys, you heard it. Talk to Brandon. Go to nonprofitwebclass.com/mastermind. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you guys next Friday once again on Purpose Fridays with Power Purpose with Sherry Watson family and friends. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.